Thank you, President Sullivan. Thank you, John Sobrato, my classmate from Santa Clara, and I think another testament to the enduring nature of relationships that we make here that all of you have made here. Also, I'd like to say greetings to the trustees and the faculty and the families, and most importantly, you, the class of 2026, yeah. Really, thank you all for inviting me to join you on this incredible day. It is what a beautiful sight to see this packed stadium, all here to celebrate you guys. You know, when I graduated from Santa Clara in 1983, we did reunions often the same weekend as graduation, and I remember very clearly walking on campus before the ceremony and seeing a big tent that said, Class of 1963. And I remember thinking to myself, man, those people are old. What dreams could they possibly have left to dream or adventures to chase? Well, you know, standing here today, I'm faced with the uncomfortable reality that my graduation day is more than twice as far from yours as I was from that class of 1963, which means I'm old, really old. And I know that some of the people I mentioned and some of the events I might talk about will seem like ancient history, but I say just bear with me. I promise this speech will be short. Santa Clara changed my life in ways I couldn't have possibly predicted at the time I arrived here as a biology major. But then I took a poli-sci class in the spring of my freshman year, and it didn't just change my direction, it changed my career, it changed my life. And it wasn't just academics, it was something deeper. It was Santa Clara's Jesuit values, the belief that we have a responsibility to each other, that we have an obligation to try to make the world a better place. That took hold with me, and I decided that politics was the place that I might be able to make a difference. So not long after I left Santa Clara, I went to work for Walter Mondale, who was running for president against Ronald Reagan. He lost in a landslide 49 states. We lost 49 states, but I was undeterred. So from there, I went to work for the mayor of Los Angeles, Tom Bradley, and he ran for governor and lost. So I went to work for Michael Dukakis, who ran for president, and lost. So I said, no problem. I went to work for Dianne Feinstein when she ran for governor. With my help, it's the only campaign Dianne Feinstein ever lost. So you can see why, when a relatively unknown governor of Arkansas decided to run for president, he reached out to and hired me. Somehow, miraculously, even with me on board, we managed to win that campaign. And I ended up serving as White House press secretary, and as John mentioned, I was the first woman to hold that position. Thank you. It wasn't easy, but it was the privilege of a lifetime. And here's what I learned. Winning, which is not something I had a lot of experience with, winning wasn't the end of the battle, it was the beginning. Every day we had to get up, lace up our boots, and fight to pass policies, to make good on the promises, to try to move the country forward. And sometimes we were successful, and sometimes we weren't, and sometimes I wasn't. I made mistakes, public ones, embarrassing ones. I gave bad advice. I said the wrong thing from the White House podium. I made sketchy fashion choices that live forever on the internet. But those experiences taught me something invaluable, something I saw so clearly in President Clinton. The work is the reward. The purpose, the meaning, even the joy in life, it comes from believing in something, from committing to it, to working for it, to being part of something bigger than yourselves, even when you don't always win, because you know what? Nobody always wins. And the value of the work, and that lesson is something you've started to learn right here at Santa Clara. When you think back on your time here, it won't be the professor or the coach or the classmate who let you slide that you'll remember the most. No, it will be the one that pushed you, the one who expected more from you than you expected from yourself, the one who made you realize you had strengths you didn't know you had. What a gift. Because you leave here now at a moment of enormous possibility and enormous challenge. You're entering a world shaped by extraordinary innovation. Technologies that were barely imaginable a few years ago are transforming everything, how we learn, how we work, how we connect. Some of the benefits are obvious. One or two of you may have used AI to help on a paper or a project, just saying. And you're told the opportunities are breathtaking. But so are the risks, and you know that. AI is changing the world in ways none of us fully understands, including the economy and the job market, and that's left many of you feeling anxious. I understand that. You're anxious about what comes next, what you'll do. It's left the whole world feeling anxious, so much so that Pope Leo recently issued his first encyclical, a sweeping warning about the risks of AI to human dignity, to work, to truth, to community. My generation, we didn't face that kind of uncertainty. And we didn't face the constant, often toxic presence of social media, a world where you're always on display, always comparing yourselves to the carefully curated versions of other people's lives. It's an impossible standard. Now, I know when someone my age says, turn it off, it sounds like the blah, blah, blah advice of someone who does not live in your world. And honestly, that's fair. But it's also true. Turn it off. At least turn it off sometimes. Resist the algorithm sometimes. And when you do, go do something real. Help someone, call a friend, be present with the people who you love and who love you. I promise you, you will feel better. Yeah. As John mentioned, since leaving the White House, I've done a few different things. I've been a political pundit. I was a consultant on the TV show The West Wing. Yeah. It holds up really well. I'm proud of it. I wrote a best-selling book called Why Women Should Rule the World, which we acknowledged. Yeah. I've been a Hollywood studio executive, a wife, a mom, and now a senior advisor to the governor of California, who also happens to be a Bronco. Yeah. So clearly I like variety, or maybe I just can't hold a job. But either way, it's worked for me. But I think it also reflects a larger truth. When I walked across that stage over in the Mission Garden all those years ago, I had no idea where my life would take me, no idea. And I promise you, as you walk today, you have no idea what's coming next, what's in store for you. So embrace that uncertainty. It's okay not to know. That's part of the adventure. Take some risks now, especially now. And don't be afraid to change your course if something different captures your imagination or your heart. There's no single right choice, no perfect answer, not now, not ever. Never. My current job in the governor's office ends in 6 months. And I have no idea what I'm going to do next. No idea. And that's okay, because the battle for what you want, for what you believe, for who you are, it's never over. It's never won. It's ongoing. It's messy. It requires resilience. But it's also what gives life meaning. We're living through some profound changes in a time of intense conflict. And I know it can feel overwhelming. But history can be both a comfort and a guide. We've been through difficult moments before. In the darkest days of the Civil War, when our country was literally tearing itself apart, President Abraham Lincoln was asked whether he believed God was on the Union side. And he answered that his concern was not whether God was on the Union side, but whether the Union was on God's side. I've always loved that answer, because even in a moment of profound moral conviction, President Lincoln understood the importance of humility, the importance of questioning yourself, of resisting the temptation to believe that you alone have all the answers. That kind of humility, it's too often missing from public life today. But it may be one of the most important things that you can aspire to in your lives, because there is no silver bullet, no perfect ideology, no flawless technology, no single leader who can magically solve every problem. There's only the work. Back on my very first campaign, a seasoned organizer gave us newbies a piece of advice I'll never forget. He said, when you're eating breakfast this morning, look at your breakfast and remember this. The chicken was involved, but the hog was committed. So My advice to you, class of 2026, be a hog. Yeah. Be a hog. Be all in on your values, on your purpose, on the people and causes that need you. That's not, because the battle for a better world, the battle for your best self, it's never over. It's not something to fear, it's something to embrace. And it means you'll always have dreams left to dream, adventures left to chase. So keep showing up, keep doing the work, keep fighting for something bigger than yourselves. And if you do, you won't just build a successful life, you'll build a meaningful life. So with that, congratulations, class of 2026, and go Broncos.